All right, good evening, guys. This is Ken of Tortoise Capital, nightly strategy podcast for the weekend for Friday, March 8th, 2024. We'll start with the 30-minute hybrid swing. Uh, this is Alcoa, 30 minutes, 30-minute bars. Yesterday's Emerging Dragon, we closed after it rolled over and sold off. I didn't take that trade, but it was available. There's our 5-day and 10-day VWAPs, the anchored VWAPs. Really liking that. Really liking that as a reference. AI. We've got COTA 2 for an R. It got as high as the 5-day and then the 10-day and then reversed back to the 5-day. Missed this short caterpillar. Rolled over, collapsing dragon, kind of a style for an R. Standard exit at the skin of the dragon. Cliff. This was a gap and go. I lost half an R. It finished up selling off, so I got short here and captured half an R back. So net scratch. CVS, COTA 2 continuation for 2R. Diamonds, also the big rollover, collapsed back to the VWAP short, standard risk. R capture after a sell-off that was recovering. It came back to the 5-period VWAP, so that was enough. Disney, no trade. Devon Energy, COTA 2 scratch. Ethereum, no trade. Mexico, again, that whole rollover, the entire market was doing that, so we got short on the crossing of the Bollinger Band mean for an R. Brazil, big gap down. It was too volatile to trade even for me, so I left it alone. Intel, beautiful PSAR collapse through the Bollinger Band mean, through the 5-day and the 10-day, almost all the way down to the 30-day anchored VWAP. But then it held, and I took this exit at the skin of the dragon. 1, 2, 3, 4R. That was about a perfect execution of this new anchored VWAP as a calibrated tool. Boy, am I liking that. IP. 1R on a COTA 2. IYR. No trade after a gap. Coke. SSC for 1. Regional banks, no trade. McDonald's, 1, 2, 3 in the morning after a harsh sell-off for 2R. And it went up through the 30 period, the 5 period, and the 10 period. Anchored VWAP rolled over and came back vicinity of the Bollinger Band mean, and that felt like a natural place to capture 1.5R. Merck, no trade. Microsoft, no trade. I missed the short. Marijuana, tried the rollover in short, but it scratched. Nike, no trade. Nvidia, yesterday's Emerging Dragon had a big gap up, a huge improvement, and then started falling. When the R10 rolled over, I just cashed it, and that gave 7R for that 2-day trade. Really liking that. And it finished at the 5-day VWAP. Notice that that's the current fair market. Then that harsh sell-off was on enough volume to drive that VWAP all the way down here. Pretty interesting. I'm sorry, that's the 1-day VWAP. That's the 5-day there. But still, tremendous selling volume in here. So that looks like a really good exit. That was a money management exit. PBW, Clean Energy, I missed the short. I shouldn't have, because PBW is one of the top 5 trading value ones. And that was a rejection of the 30 period, of the 30-day anchored VWAP. And it came all the way back to the 5-day anchored VWAP. So it's trading between the rivers. Palantir, no trade. Rivian, no trade. I missed that short. The S&P gave back all the way back to the 5-day anchored VWAP from this exaggerated position. That was a very tradable move. That's an owl entry short right there. That's a PSAR crossing entry short. That's a short crossing the Bollinger Band mean. So that trade was available all day. Treasury stabilized. Tesla, no trade. Walmart, I tried the short when the market was rolling over. It was initially in the money, but then when it came back, I just scratched. US Steel, sideways chop. XLI, no trade, but that also reflects that enormous sell-off. That's actually even easier to trade than the S&P. It's not nearly as volatile, but it is tightly correlated. That's an interesting way to play that. You can play that with a sector futures as well. There's a single sector future on that gives you the ability to play that with leveraged. Worth a look. XLI for tactical traders. Couple sniper trades of the day. This was Rivian. So this is all 3-minute charts. Here was yesterday's close. Here's the gap up in OR3. It broke out here. So we're long from there with the standard risk. Runs all the way up. There's the R10. Take this exit at the skin of the dragon. I captured one, but I gave back almost two. So a little bit sloppy. It held support at the VWAP. So that's a COTA 2 reentry, ran up. I scratched. That was poor. I should have been able to get a fraction. When it continued to fail through the full 1-hour stop and crossed the Bollinger Band mean, I finally woke up and got short. Standard risk. Missed a second entry here. There's the R10 rollover. I should have taken it at the skin of the dragon. Took the PSAR flip for 2R. That's a stop and reverse on an SSC. When the owl, this is an owl exit, when that rolls over, that's enough for another R. That turned out to be a pretty good day in Rivian. I was not very efficient on it, but it was a strong enough move that it covered my sins. This is MSOS marijuana. That's the #1 intraday trader. So this yellow box represents the daily range. And here's the intraday VWAP is this orange line. This darker orange line is the 5-day anchored VWAP. This is the 10-day. And that is the I'm sorry, that's the 30. And this is the 270. Was experimenting. So this ran up in the morning and it looked like it was bouncing off of this, and there's the R10 rollover. So I got short in the dragon and crossing the VWAP, scratched. It failed immediately again, so I got short again. And here I just cashed an R just because. And then it continued and it crossed the VWAP, so I got long with the standard risk for a fraction. So came out of this with a little over maybe 1.3 R. So I'm still working my way through understanding how to use these pieces and parts, but it's adding some clarity and mathematical precision to the trading. So I'm becoming a big fan of this. Let's see, let's go to the traders. So Jonathan, I think your calculation was wrong on this one. This one is a beautiful kind of kata two. And there's your wrist box. And here's the exit. So that's 2.19. You get short here. Oh no, I'm sorry. That's a re-entry and then an exit for minus 0.47. And do you get short here? No, you did not get short here. You got long here and then exited here for minus 0.76. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you got short there. And I was looking at that as a big win. So 1, 2, 3 for minus 0.92. Okay, so that's how you come out at 0.04. You are correct. I misread your, I thought we were short in here. But yeah. So just how do you get on it? You just get in. You realize you should be in when it crosses the VWAP. Just get in, slap your wrist box on it. You know that your maximum favorable move this way is to a range stat, a minus range stat. So you've got plenty of room down here for this to continue to fail. You don't have to be perfect on this, but you should be try to get as close to the crossing of the VWAP on the short as you can. That's what you want. You could even have gotten short here and that one would pay off. Because you have this big move, you have this move, you have the second leg, and then that short. When this rolls over and leaves a dragon, yeah, that's a great exit. And you could be short, and then you get that. Here's Griff doing some work from the Kata 2 Challenge course. This is EWW Mexico on the collapsing dragon pattern. So here's 1, 2, 3, and the short. So there is the trigger for the collapsing dragon. There's your downward pressure. A rejection of yesterday's high. There's his short. There's his wrist box. 1, 2. It goes down and comes back up. Covers for 2R. That's an SSC trade that should not lose money. And then there's another. That's a K2. Hey, Griff, you're in the Kata 2 challenge course. That's a Kata 2 on the short side. And then this is a collapsing dragon. So come on, man. And there's your Kata 2 on the upside. You need to start posting more charts so I can beat you up more. George, I like both of those entries. I think this exit, you stayed too long. This is supposed to go. It did for a moment. It came back and scratched it, sold all the way off, and then came all the way back up. That's good patience. You got long again, and it started to fail. As soon as that crosses the VWAP, I'm out here. So that would save you a little bit, I think. But still, that's perfectly reasonable because you have reasonable expectation that those kinds of moves up and a move down could look like these, moves of that magnitude. That's how much that thing moves. So those are justified. And then this is just excellent work on the Bitcoin. First position, second position, I think third position starts failing, cuts everything. This is where when you see that little VWAP right there, and it's below your initial, if that kind of represents your Kata 2 and emerging dragon and off it goes, When it falls below there, and that also happens to be uh, below the VWAP or even crossing the Bollinger Band mean, there's a short inside here for Bitcoin. This is a great SSC. Here's a second position. Exit, still pretty good. And I like that one. I'd probably be out here. The same exit. So net, let's see, those two scratch, so 2.8, 1.5, and 1.5. So that's 2.8. And there was more room in here for some amazing trades, but that's looking good. Continuing to trade on the 3 minutes will sharpen your eye. So keep up the good work on that. Weekend report. Let's get this expanded a little bit. Bullish normal. Long-term strong, had a little bit of pullback today. This was enough to drop us back into risk off on the risk Z. ETF2 goes to 90% exposed from 100 because of weakness in ILF, Latin America. These are still all looking really good for the long-term posture. Regression line fractal, long and strong, all-time highs. Come on, dummy. Sorry. The 3 and the 9 bar all looking good. They have cleared those previous highs. All looking good. Hey, I want you this move over here. For those of you with long-term trying to figure out how to handle your long-term money, this is the COVID sell-off that everybody thought the world was ending. This was the PSAR flip. That's your SSC entry on the long side way back in the COVID era, and you get that whole move. And here's some COTA 2s. You get this whole move. That's how you manage your long-term account, by the way. And even if you want to do longer term swing trades, like you keep getting these higher lows, all these are COTA 2 signals that are telling you to get long. You can use these same fractal patterns for your longer term positions. It's a standard interpretation. All right, the 150-day look back, cruising along at all-time high here. Here's your 30-day box. Here's your 150-day box. So that's our fireworks pattern. This was back in Godzilla days. Here was the fence sitter. The 30-day chart. Today's little sell-off was, I think, just a reflection of such a good move that they wanted to hold it. This is the 30 period. That's the 30-day anchored VWAP, this blue line. I'm sorry. Yeah, the blue line. And this is your 10 period VWAP. And this is your 5-day. So it closed right between the 5 and the 10. So it's where it should be after that excessive froth was blown off. That's all trader enthusiasm. That's your real fair value. This to me is the stop you should have. Standard work on the BMRs. There was some give back in tech, some recovery in the commodities with Australia. Japan continues to just march along nicely. IBM and Techland is bucking the trend of weakness in tech. Walmart continues to dominate. I like that one. Yeah. That's this little section shows you the top 30 on the basis of blended monthly rebalancing for, the top out of the top 185 most liquid ETFs. This is your top 30. They're all on a buy signal. These are the ones that really stand out on the blended. And then this one shows you the bottom 10. I'm cutting out the middle so you can see what really is getting murdered. Mid caps, transportation, natural gas, clean energy, commodities, China getting murdered. World market model, mid cap growth, most of the US. The Qs and large caps doing well. Uh, Equities in here, what's working well? Financials, industrials, and tech. And then the S&P is crushing the other asset classes. All the usual suspects. Let's go to dashboard 1. You've seen most of that. Dashboard 2. So today was just backing and filling and leveling off winning positions. So a few more auto framers fired, couple 5DDs in Goldman and Home Depot. Um, ExxonMobil was breaking out to new highs, as was 3M in the industrial sector. And Cisco in tech is bucking the weakness in tech theme from this week. Nothing really to see there. Still being dominated by the summer. Mostly selling pressure today to reduce risk for the weekend. Kind of typical. I would just point to some strength in defensive plays like IYR and gold. Usual suspects for the trading value. And finally, yeah, we're witnessing the slowdown of the runaway freight train to the upside as the market comes slowly back to normal and just cruising along the upside of the river, which is rising. So still good. Just the runaway move is over. All right, that's everything for today. We'll get this published and processed. The foundations Q&A that I did earlier today, I thought was really good. We had some new people visiting from EdgeRaider, so I was a little more detailed in a discussion of, how to interpret our moving regression lines and such. So that's probably worth your attention. It's posted in the foundations Q&A in the foundations course in the usual spot for the foundation students. Take good care, and we shall see you soon.